All right, so I'm Michael. I'm here from MUSEA. So we had a visitor today. Carrie came in, and so we wanted to play a little fun game with her. We're gonna do about 10 questions, rapid fire, so you can get to know her, get to know her business.
Yep.
So here we go.
Okay, I'm
so
ready.
First
Yes.
question is, well, introduce yourself. Your
Okay.
name.
My name is Carrie Roseman, and I'm based in Stonington, Connecticut. And I've been shooting professionally for 15 years, and I'm primarily focused on personal branding photography, headshots, and pinup photography.
Okay, awesome. You just knocked out 2 of my questions
Sweet.
immediately.
Getting it done.
Okay, so physical products. You came in to visit us to see prints and everything we do.
Yes.
So what are you selling now in your business?
Primarily, I'm selling the folio box. I am an IPS photographer specifically. That was a very conscious decision in my business. I love books and wall art as well. I'm in the process of figuring out exactly what products to be offering my clients. So that was really awesome that you invited me in here today to check everything out, get my hands on some stuff, see the quality of everything. I mean, what you guys do is super beautiful, and your quality control is impeccable. It goes beyond what other labs do.
Awesome.
So,
well, thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, so how do you sell? So like your folio boxes, maybe let's just look at that. So what do you do to sell those products to your clients now?
So in my IPS session, we went over this a little bit earlier. I was doing a printed reveal, kind of Sue Bryce style before, and now I've switched to more of a digital reveal, and the images that they decide on will get retouched. And I tell them like the individual price is this, but when bundled as a collection, they're this, and when I'm bundling them as a collection, that's the folio box. So that's primarily how I've been selling. But what my goal is moving forward is which photographs do you want on the wall, and then maybe the rest of them go kind of in a book or a box.
Right.
So they kind of have like the 2 prongs, like something that they can physically have in their hands to show people, bring with them, have some prints to gift, and then a wall display in their home.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so something that everybody struggles with is how do you overcome the challenge of digital versus prints in your business when a lot of clients are just wanting digital files?
Yes. So for me, it's there's a few different ways that we can tackle this. And when somebody is buying the folio box, they'll also get the corresponding web-sized digital file. I kind of like to be in control of the printing. I don't want people to go to CVS or some crappy place. But they just primarily want the digital for sharing on social media anyway. For the headshot and personal branding side of my business, which is fully digital, they do get a print res because sometimes they need to print banners or brochures and things like that for their business. I'm priced on the same side because what they're paying for is the art that's being created and not the medium on which it's being delivered. I'm so hardcore about doing the IPS for either, though, because even if it's a digital product for an entrepreneur that I'm doing a personal branding for or headshots, I still meet with them and see what they like. And sometimes they do end up wanting something printed out of that. But when they're getting, they have more of like a fine art session or a pinup session, we do the box. I kind of say sometimes like the print is the gift from me. Right. It's like a 2-for-1. Yeah. So that's kind of how I get around that. But I shot weddings for many years, and people weren't printing things on their own, and they still don't.
Yeah.
So it's a full boutique service. It's a whole experience. They see the pretty pictures. They think that's what they're coming in for, but they're actually coming in for the entire experience. And to finish that experience is the product in hand. Right. So that's kind of how I go into it a little bit more, but
that's good. I love it.
Yeah.
What kind of marketing is working for you right now?
Marketing. I am pounding the social media, which is great. I've been a lot more consistent at that. That has been challenging for me in the past. Not that I'm scared to show up online, but it's just making the time. I think that's probably the biggest challenge as an entrepreneur. But showing up on social media consistently, on Facebook, on my Facebook business page, on my Facebook personal page, sometimes doing Facebook Lives, on my Instagram feed, which I need to be posting more, but I have 2 different Instagrams now, and then Instagram stories, which is actually how you found me, that I was in town.
Nashville. I was like, come on over,
posting, and you said, come on in. So people who pay attention, no matter if they're engaging with you or not, but the point is to convert the people who are clients, hopefully, or to add value, because that's really what we're doing here as service people. And then I'm really into in-person networking. That is something that's been huge for me in my business. I'm part of a B&I group. Back home, I've done women's networking groups whenever I get invited to something where there's other business owners or entrepreneurs, or invited out to dinner with friends that I don't know. I'm always going to go and chat with people. And it's about establishing relationships.
Yeah.
So that's, I've been much better at the in-person, so now I'm like taking the online part of it a lot more by storm.
That's good. That's good. You have both.
Yeah. I mean, people usually veer on one side or the other. I'm trying to like take it full force on both.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So next would be just what, just probably have a lot of these, but what's just your one biggest challenge in business right now?
Well, this year, the theme of this year for me was getting organized systems and workflows. And I found, I don't know, do you listen to podcasts and things like that? Like I'm like obsessed with like these YouTube channels that teach you something in podcasts. So I listen to Amy Landino on Amy TV, and she's all about calendar blocking. And it's just about basically how to be more effective with your time as a human being in general. So that's my biggest struggle, because I don't realize how long things take. And then once you time something, you're like, oh, okay. So that's probably my biggest challenge right now.
Okay, cool.
And training employees. That's also hard for me.
This would be kind of a little bit more advice, which is things you found successful. But so building a business in a world that feels kind of like there's a race to the bottom. There's a lot of pressure, I feel like, for people, whether, photographers have clients that come in that are very price conscious, and I can get a photographer that's cheaper, or, we see that from the lab side of like, well, there's this other lab that charges less, So how do you bring value to this world that there's a lot of pressure to be Amazon? And
it's about conveying the value and not justifying, but presenting and showing people this is the experience. And I mean, the building that I'm in, it's kind of a cool building where my studio is. It's an old velvet mill, so there's tons of businesses in there. There's 4 other photographers in my building.
Okay.
I'm looking to serve 100 to 200 clients a year. There's probably 300,000 people in the county I live in, and then I'm also traveling for shoots. So by being on social media, and it's attracting the people into your brand who want what you have to offer. So that's really what I'm trying to do is attract those people, and the people who aren't too into or who are super price conscious and can't quite afford or justify, they don't really want to pay for what I'm doing. That's totally fine. They'll self-select out. Because in my building, I'm by far the most expensive, for sure. But expensive, it's also, people pay for what they value. Right. And I don't think it has anything to do with location, or if you're an urban area or rural area. People in the middle of Maine, in a population of 1,000 people in their town, are still going to buy the newest iPhone when it comes out if they want it.
Yep.
So to pay for a high-end photo experience, I mean, it is what it is. And if they say, oh, Susie Q down the street charges $200, they'll be like, well, that's a great price. Why don't you go hire her? And they're like, oh, but it's not very good. And then you just say, okay.
Right.
Well, this is what I offer.
And it's this price.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it. Love it. All right. So, 2 more.
Okay.
Getting there. All right. What's your biggest mistake you've made in business?
Oh my God.
I know we've all made a bajillion. Just like one that pops into your head. It could be a recent one or something.
Well, recently I've worked with a business coach over the last few years, and finding out about how my mind works, I tend to, she calls me Jetson, like I'm a manifestor in the world. So I have an idea and I just want to be over there doing it.
Right.
In that process, sometimes I forget to communicate and inform people what I'm doing. So I've learned to slow down and actually inform people. One other big mistake I think that I've done is trying to bring people on, employees or contractors into my business to help me out in certain things I'm trying to outsource, without having like a manual or proper training for them, or knowing how to communicate properly to them what I'm expecting.
Right.
So I think learning how to be a boss has been the hardest part of being an entrepreneur, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good skill to learn though, but
Yes.
it is a different skill set for
Yes,
sure.
it
Yep.
definitely is. And nobody tells you like, oh, you're gonna have to train these people and they're all gonna want to work as hard as you. Like they don't.
Right.
To find those people with those skill sets
Yep.
sometimes proves to be challenging.
Yep. Cool. All right, last one. Plans, goals you have for next year, 2020. Where are you headed?
Where am I headed? So traveling for shoots, which is very exciting. This is my first official like travel date.
Cool.
I did 6 shoots while I was in town for personal branding, and I learned a lot over the last couple of days. What I will do differently going forward, but and I think what I'll do differently next time too is it'll be like, okay, this month I want to go host shoots here, this month here, this month here. And then just put it out there,
right?
Rather than like this was part of like a convention, so I was a conference for this group of people, and like they're very busy with that schedule. So for me to kind of coordinate around that was a little bit difficult, rather than just being like, oh, these are the travel dates Carrie Roseman Portraits is doing. If you want in, here's the information. But travel and then really exploding my pinup.
Yeah.
And there's like a pinup convention in Vegas I actually want to
Ooh,
go to.
there you
It's
go.
called Viva Las Vegas.
Right.
I'd love to go to that and set up shoots because
Okay.
everybody out there is like, that's what they're all about. So yeah, that's the big goals. I have some big money goals as well for the business, learning how to get there.
Right.
Is a whole other thing. So
okay, cool.
We're
So tell us real quick, Instagram, where we can find you. I know you have 2 accounts.
Okay, yes. So I have my name, Carrie_Roseman. That's where I'm showcasing my personal branding and headshots mostly. So it's for up-leveling entrepreneurs who value, custom created content for their businesses and their brands, whether they're online, lifestyle, have a brick and mortar, whatever. I work with people in all different industries. And then my other one for pinup, I just started that one. It's pin_up_divas at Pinup Divas. So
Perfect.
That's really fun too.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming
All
by.
right. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.